everyone, and welcome to Real World English Channel. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jake. Today we have a really practical episode for you about one of the most important skills in English, small talk.
That's right, Jake. Small talk might seem, well, small, but it's actually huge when it comes to building relationships with colleagues and friends.
Exactly. Whether you're starting a new job, attending a social event, or just want to connect better with people around you, mastering small talk is essential.
So today we'll cover what small talk really is, why it matters, and give you tons of practical examples for different situations.
We'll talk about workplace small talk, social gathering conversations, and share our best tips for keeping those conversations flowing naturally.
So let's start with the basics. What exactly is small talk? Jake, how would you define it?
Well, small talk is light, casual conversation about everyday topics. It's not about deep philosophical discussions.
Right.
Instead, it's about creating connection and showing that you're friendly and approachable. Common topics include the weather, weekend plans, current events, or shared experiences.
Exactly. And here's why it's so important. Small talk is like a bridge. It helps you move from being strangers or acquaintances to actually building relationships.
That's a great analogy, Emma. In the workplace especially, small talk can make you seem more personable and easier to work with.
Absolutely. It shows emotional intelligence and cultural awareness. Plus, it can lead to opportunities, better teamwork, and even friendships.
Now, let's dive into workplace small talk. This is probably where many English learners feel the most nervous about making conversation.
Oh, definitely. The good news is that workplace small talk follows pretty predictable patterns. Let's start with some safe, universal topics that work in almost any office environment.
Number one is weather, the classic small talk topic. You might say, beautiful day today, isn't it? Or, can you believe how cold it got overnight?
Right. And here's a tip. Don't just make a statement about the weather. Turn it into a question or add a personal touch. Instead of just saying it's raining, try, I hope this rain stops before lunch. I was planning to eat outside.
Great advice. Another safe topic is weekend plans. On Friday, you can ask, any fun plans for the weekend? And on Monday, follow up with, how was your weekend?
And here's what's beautiful about this. It shows you actually care about your colleagues as people, not just as coworkers.
Exactly. Other workplace-friendly topics include commuting, like how's traffic today, or did you take the train this morning, and shared experiences, like company events or changes in the office.
Now, let me share some specific examples of how these conversations might actually sound. Jake, let's do a quick role play.
Sure. Let's say we're both arriving at the office on a Monday morning.
Morning, Jake. How was your weekend?
Hey, Emma. It was great, thanks. I went hiking with some friends. The weather was perfect for it. How about you?
Oh, nice. Where did you go hiking? I love being outdoors when the weather is good like this.
We went up to Blue Mountain. The views were incredible. Do you hike much?
I've been wanting to get into it more. Maybe you could recommend some beginner-friendly trails sometime.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to share some ideas.
Perfect example, Jake. Notice how we started with a simple weekend question, but it naturally evolved into finding a common interest and even plans for future connection.
Exactly. The key is to ask follow-up questions and share something about yourself too. It can't be one-sided.
Now, let's talk about topics to avoid in workplace small talk. This is just as important as knowing what to talk about.
Right. Generally, avoid very personal topics like relationships, money, politics, religion, and health issues, unless someone specifically brings them up first.
And definitely avoid complaining too much or gossiping about other colleagues. You want to be seen as positive and professional.
Now let's shift to social gatherings, parties, networking events, or casual get-togethers with friends. The rules are a bit different here.
That's right. In social settings, you can be more personal and creative with your conversation topics, but you still want to start with safe, accessible topics that anyone can contribute to.
Great conversation starters for social situations include asking about the event itself. How do you know Sarah at a birthday party? Or have you been to one of these events before at a networking meetup?
You can also comment on your surroundings. This is such a beautiful venue, or the food here is amazing. It's immediate and relatable.
Another approach is to ask about interests and hobbies. What do you like to do for fun? Is simple but effective. Or you can mention something you're passionate about and see if they relate.
Let's do another role play, Jake. This time, let's imagine we're at a friend's housewarming party and we've just met.
Sounds good. I'll start. Hi there, I'm Jake. How do you know Lisa?
Hi, Jake. I'm Emma. Lisa and I work together at the marketing agency downtown. What about you?
We went to college together. I can't believe she finally bought her own place. Have you had a chance to see the rest of the house?
Not yet, but I love what she's done with this living room. That artwork is gorgeous. Are you from around here originally?
Actually, I moved here from Chicago about 3 years ago for work. I'm still discovering the city. How long have you been in town?
Oh, I'm a local, born and raised here. What do you think of the city so far? And what brought you here from Chicago?
I love it. The food scene here is incredible. I got a job opportunity with a tech startup, and it seemed like the perfect time for a change.
See how naturally that conversation flowed? We started with our connection to Lisa, moved to commenting on the surroundings, then shared personal information about where we're from and our careers.
Right, and notice how we kept asking follow-up questions. That's crucial for keeping conversations going.
Now, let's share some practical tips for maintaining conversations and avoiding those awkward silences that everyone worries about.
First tip, master the art of active listening. This means really paying attention to what the other person is saying, not just waiting for your turn to speak.
Exactly. Use verbal cues like, that sounds interesting, or really? Or I can imagine, to show you're engaged, and ask questions based on what they just told you.
Second tip, have some go-to conversation topics ready. Think about current events, popular TV shows, local restaurants, or upcoming holidays. These are topics most people can relate to.
Right. And here's something many English learners don't realize. It's perfectly okay to have brief pauses in conversation. Don't panic if there's a moment of silence.
That's so important, Emma. A 2 to 3 second pause while someone thinks is completely normal. Don't rush to fill every silence.
Another great tip, use the Ford method. That stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. These are 4 broad categories that can help you find common ground with almost anyone.
I love that acronym. So you might ask about family. Do you have any siblings? Occupation. What do you do for work? Recreation. What do you do in your free time? And dreams. Where would you love to travel next?
Perfect examples. And remember, the goal isn't to interview someone with questions. Share your own answers too. Make it a genuine exchange. Now, let's talk about something that's become incredibly important in recent years, small talk in virtual settings. Whether it's video calls, online meetings, or virtual networking events, the rules are a bit different.
Now, let's talk about how to gracefully end conversations. This is something many people struggle with, even native speakers. Absolutely. Virtual small talk can actually be easier in some ways because you have built-in conversation starters. You can comment on someone's background, ask about their setup, or mention any pets or family members that might appear on screen.
Right. In workplace settings, you can say things like, well, I should let you get back to your work, or I have a meeting starting soon, but it was great talking with you. Right. Some great virtual small talk starters include, I love your home office setup, or is that your cat I saw earlier? You can also ask about their location. Where are you joining us from today? This is especially useful in international meetings.
At social events, try, I'm going to grab another drink, but it was so nice meeting you. Or, I promised I'd catch up with a few more people tonight, but I really enjoyed our conversation. Technical issues can also become conversation starters. Instead of getting frustrated, you can make light comments like, welcome to the wonderful world of video calls, or I think you're on mute, followed by, we've all been there.
The key is to be honest and polite. People appreciate transparency, and a friendly exit leaves a positive impression. Another important aspect we should discuss is cultural considerations in small talk. What's considered appropriate varies significantly between cultures, so it's important to be aware of this, especially in diverse workplaces.
Before we wrap up, let's talk about some common mistakes English learners make with small talk and how to avoid them. For example, in some cultures, asking about family is very welcome and shows genuine interest. In others, it might be considered too personal for initial conversations. The key is to pay attention to how others respond and follow their lead.
One big mistake is asking questions that are too personal too quickly. Build up to more personal topics gradually. Start with safe subjects and let the conversation naturally deepen. Here's a practical tip. When you're unsure about cultural boundaries, stick to very universal topics like the weather, current local events, or shared work experiences. These are generally safe across all cultures.
Another mistake is dominating the conversation. Remember, small talk should be balanced. If you've been talking for more than a minute straight, pause and ask the other person a question. Let's share some specific phrases that are particularly useful for small talk. These are expressions that native speakers use naturally, and they'll help you sound more fluent and confident.
And don't worry too much about perfect grammar or vocabulary. Native speakers make mistakes all the time in casual conversation. Focus on connecting with the person, not on speaking perfectly. For expressing agreement and showing interest, try phrases like, "That's exactly what I was thinking," or "I know what you mean," or "That sounds really interesting." These keep the conversation flowing and show you're engaged.
That's such important advice, Emma. Authenticity beats perfection every time in small talk. When you want to change topics smoothly, you can say, "Speaking of which," or "That reminds me." For buying yourself time to think, try, "That's a great question," or "Let me think about that for a second." These are perfectly natural in conversation.
As we wrap up today's episode, let's recap the key points. Small talk is about building connections, not having deep conversations. Start with safe, universal topics like weather, weekend plans, or shared experiences. It's also helpful to recognize that different people have different small talk styles. Some people are naturally chatty and will carry the conversation easily. Others are more reserved and need gentle encouragement to open up.
Remember to ask follow-up questions and share about yourself too. Practice active listening and don't be afraid of brief pauses. Use the Ford method to find common ground with anyone. With quieter people, try asking open-ended questions that give them space to share. Instead of, "Did you have a good weekend?" try, "What did you get up to this weekend?" The slight difference in phrasing can make the person feel more comfortable sharing details.
Most importantly, practice. The more you engage in small talk, the more natural it becomes. Start with low-pressure situations and gradually challenge yourself with new environments. Let's do one more quick role play to practice some of these virtual meeting small talk skills. Jake, let's imagine we're both joining a team video call a few minutes early.
Your homework for this week is to initiate one small talk conversation each day. It could be with a colleague, a neighbor, or someone in line at the coffee shop. Notice how good it feels to connect with others. Perfect. Hi, Emma. I love your background. Is that your actual bookshelf or a virtual one?
Thanks, it's actually real. I'm working from my home office today. How's your morning going? You're joining from the main office, right?
Yes, I'm in the office today. It's been nice having a mix of home and office days. Oh, looks like more people are joining now. Ready for another productive meeting?
Until next time, keep practicing and remember, every conversation is an opportunity to connect and learn. See how that worked? We commented on the virtual environment, shared a bit about our work setup, and naturally transitioned to the business part of the call. Virtual small talk can be just as effective as in-person conversations.
See you next time on Real World English Channel.